year has kicked off with a very healthy snowpack thanks to the wet weather. We see here the Drought Monitor for the past 2 years has been under extreme drought for Kern County. But in the past 2 weeks, we've seen that change 2 levels to severe drought in Kern County and most of the other areas. Now, the Water Resources Department says this has led to areas across the state pivoting from drought response to flood releases. But it does expect the weather to change in the next couple of days.
Wouldn't anticipate that extreme of a dry spell, but we do look like we will have a 2-week run here where things may be drying.
Michael Anderson, the state climatologist for the Department of Water Resources, says they expect drier weather for the rest of January after this weekend's storm. But the last 2 weeks of rain have had an impact on water storage. Anderson adding the smaller water systems that rely on annual rainwater to supply for the rest of the year are now in a better position.
Larger systems that have both reservoir storage, we see that a lot of those are recovering their conservation storage and maybe pivoting into a flood management role. So you have recovery there.
Although the recent storms have helped the state's water supply, Shasta and Trinity reservoirs will need more water to fill the deficit as they are larger.
Lake Shasta itself did surpass about 2.3 million acre feet yesterday, but again, still below average at 82% of average for this time of year.
And even closer to home, Molly White, the State Water Project Operations Manager for the state, says Pyramid Lake near Castaic has been requiring releases to manage increased runoff and lake levels. Meanwhile, Lake Isabella did see its current storage almost double from what it was at the end of December. However, even with that downpour, it is only at 1/5 of its capacity, currently holding around 100,000 acre feet out of its 500,000 acre feet capacity. This meaning it is still well below flood reservation, which is why the overall takeaway from Monday's briefing was what we have been hearing all along.
Making conservation a way of life because we don't know when the next dry conditions are going to come. We don't know when the next drought is going to happen. So we're always encouraging Californians to be smart with their water usage. And so that doesn't really change depending on how many storms we see. That's just good practice.
The department also announced Friday that they will be fast-tracking efforts to capture floodwaters to recharge groundwater basins, which are basically the state's water savings account. The goal is to expand groundwater recharge by 500,000 acre feet capacity. In studio, Vania Patino, 23 ABC News, connecting you.